This is part 2 of the Exam 3 review. Be sure you have printed out the worksheet so you can follow along. This problem says to find all numbers not in the domain and then give the domain in set notation. If you had looked at this problem and not read the directions, you might have gone ahead and factored the denominator and canceled any like terms or any identical terms, and you would have gotten the problem wrong. So what you need to do differently is to see if you can find any value of x that is not allowed for a solution. And that would mean if there is any value of x that would force the denominator to be 0, then you would end up with dividing by 0, which is undefined. And remember what you learned in class. This is what happens when somebody divides by 0. So you sure don't want to be responsible for that. So let's look at what numbers will make that denominator 0. The first thing we have to do is factor the denominator so that we can get two factors multiplied together to equal 0, and then we can apply the zero factor property. This is a denominator with a trinomial that has a coefficient of 2 in front of its lead term. So we're going to use grouping. We draw a chart, multiply 2 by -6 and get -12, and we have 1 for our middle term's coefficient. We need two numbers to multiply to 12 and add to 1, and those are going to be 4 and -3. Then we rewrite our trinomial with the negative number first, so that we can group. So all we've done is rewritten the first and third terms of this trinomial, and then we've broken up the second based on these numbers, and we decided to put the negative number first so we wouldn't have any trouble with negatives when we group. So we're going to group these, and we get in the first group that x factors out, leaving us with 2x minus 3, and in the second group 2 factors out, leaving us with 2x minus 3. So now we have 2x minus 3 as our greatest common factor, so we write that, and what's left is x plus 2. Okay, so that's our denominator factored out. We're going to set it equal to 0 and use the zero factor property, which means that 2x minus 3 equals 0 will show us what x cannot be, and then x plus 2 equals 0 will show us the other thing x cannot be. So we add 3 to both sides. We get 2x equals 3. And then we divide both sides by 2 and we get x equals 3/2. Over here we just subtract 2 and we get x equals -2. So the numbers that aren't allowed are x cannot equal 3/2 or -2. And the way we write that in set notation is all values of x will work such that x does not equal 3/2 or -2. And these are the answers they're going to want you to say. Now continue on to part 3 of the Exam 3 review videos.